My name is Vasquez, Senior Intelligence Analyst of the Krylian Dominion. If you're listening to this recording, it means our species is already extinct. How delightfully ironic that I'm using human audio technology to document our own annihilation. The same creatures we once considered nothing more than clever pets have reduced the mighty Krylian Empire to cosmic dust in less than 3 rotations. You want to know how? Sit back, because this tale of absolute stupidity, and I'm talking about our stupidity, is quite the ride. It started 18 cycles ago when our deep space reconnaissance detected a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Third rock from the sun, they called it. How quaint. Our xenobiologists were practically vibrating with excitement. Primitive bipedal mammals, they squealed. Perfect specimens for the collection. The collection. Oh yes, we Krylians were quite proud of our galactic zoo. We had species from 1200 worlds, all carefully preserved in biostasis chambers for educational purposes. Cultural enrichment, we called it. The Council of Seven decreed that adding these humans would complete our anthropological archives. Commander Vasquez led the first harvesting expedition. Standard procedure, really. Land the extraction vessels, deploy neural dampening fields, collect the most genetically diverse specimens, and depart. Clean, efficient, professional. We'd done it thousands of times before, but here's where things got interesting. The humans fought back. Not unusual, of course. Most species struggle initially. But these creatures? They kept fighting even after the neural dampeners should have rendered them docile. Even more puzzling, they seemed to adapt to our technology within hours. Hours. Species that had taken us centuries to understand, these mammals were reverse engineering in less time than it takes to properly calibrate a plasma rifle. Fascinating resilience, noted Dr. Quinn Harlex, our chief xenobiologist. Their neuroplasticity indexes are off the charts. And look at these stress hormone readings. They're actually getting stronger under pressure. The first extraction teams reported difficulties. Equipment malfunctions. Communications blackouts. 3 harvester ships went completely dark over what the humans called North America. When the rescue flotilla arrived, they found nothing but empty vessels floating in orbit. No bodies. No signs of struggle. Just emptiness. Where did the crews go? Demanded Commander Vasquez. The answer came 2 cycles later when we intercepted human radio transmissions. They were broadcasting detailed schematics of our technology. Our technology. Not only had they captured our crews, they'd somehow extracted technical specifications from their neural implants. Impossible? We thought so too, but wait, it gets better. The humans had reverse engineered our cloaking systems and were using them to build, well, we weren't entirely sure what they were building. Our long-range sensors kept detecting massive construction projects, but every time we sent scouts to investigate, the sites appeared completely empty. Clever little mammals had learned to hide from us using our own technology. Council member HFY Sci-Fi laughed when I presented my findings. You're suggesting these primitives pose a threat to the Dominion? They barely have space flight. Their most advanced weapons are chemical explosives. Oh, HFY Sci-Fi. If only you could see how wrong you were. The first real surprise came when we attempted a larger harvesting operation. Fleet Admiral Krylos deployed 200 vessels to collect specimens from their major population centers. The plan was flawless. Orbital bombardment to disable their infrastructure, followed by systematic collection sweeps. The bombardment phase went perfectly. We watched their primitive communication networks collapse, their power grids fail, their military installations crumble. Phase 2 should have been a simple cleanup operation, should have been. Instead, Fleet Admiral Krylos found himself facing something unprecedented in Krylian military history. The humans had vanished. All of them. 7 billion sentient beings had simply disappeared. Search every structure, ordered Krylos. They must be hiding in their underground facilities. The search teams found empty cities. Empty homes. Empty schools. Empty everything. It was as if the entire population had been teleported away. But humans didn't have teleportation technology. We'd verified that dozens of times, then the attacks began, our ship started exploding. Not from external weapons fire, not from conventional sabotage. They were exploding from the inside. Engineering teams would report minor system glitches, then boom. Entire vessels reduced to expanding clouds of superheated gas. Internal sabotage is impossible, insisted Chief Engineer Vasquez. Our security protocols are impenetrable. No organic being can survive in our engineering sections without proper life support. Wrong again, Vasquez, the humans had somehow infiltrated our ships. Not through the airlocks, not through the docking bays. They were appearing inside sealed compartments, in areas that should have been instantly lethal to their fragile biology. Our security recordings showed them moving through sections with atmospheric pressure that should have crushed their bones, breathing gas mixtures that should have dissolved their lungs, but here's the truly terrifying part. They weren't wearing any protective equipment. They were surviving in hard vacuum using nothing but their natural physiology. Impossible? Absolutely. Happening anyway? Unfortunately, yes. Dr. Quinharlex's final report before his ship was destroyed contained some rather disturbing observations. The human specimens are exhibiting unprecedented biological adaptation. Their cellular structure appears to be evolving in real time. They're literally adapting to environmental conditions that should kill them within seconds. The report ended there. Dr. Quinharlex's research vessel was found 3 days later, completely intact but entirely empty. The only sign of struggle was a single message burned into the hull in perfect Krylian script: "You took our children. Now we take everything." Fleet Admiral Krex Morton attempted a strategic withdrawal. Standard protocol when facing unknown variables. Fall back, regroup, analyze, adapt. Sensible military doctrine that had served the Dominion for thousands of cycles, except the humans wouldn't let us leave. Our ships would engage their hyperdrives, enter the preliminary jump sequence, and then, nothing. Dead stops in the middle of interstellar space. Engineering teams would report that the hyperdrive cores were simply gone. Not damaged, not malfunctioning. Gone. Physically removed from the ships with surgical precision while traveling at near-light velocity. "How are they doing this?" demanded Krex Morton during his final transmission. "How are they boarding ships traveling at 0.97 light speed?" We never got an answer. Krex Morton's flagship, the pride of the Krylian battle fleet, was found drifting in deep space 3 cycles later. The hull was perfectly intact. The crew was perfectly absent. The only thing left behind was another message, this time carved into the command deck floor: "We are learning. We are growing. We are coming." And come they did. The humans arrived at Krylos Prime exactly 1 cycle after we'd first detected their planet. Not in ships, mind you. We would have seen ships coming. Our deep space monitoring arrays can detect a pebble-sized object from 12 parsecs away. No, they simply appeared. 1 moment our planetary defense grid showed clear space in all directions. The next moment, humans were standing in our capital city, in our government buildings, in our homes. Millions of them. All perfectly calm, all perfectly silent, all perfectly impossible. High Counselor Vasquez activated the planetary emergency protocols. Atmospheric purging systems designed to eliminate any unauthorized biological contamination. The same systems we'd used to sterilize dozens of worlds before adding them to our empire. The humans didn't die. They didn't even seem inconvenienced. "Interesting," said one of them, a female with dark hair and surprisingly gentle eyes. She was speaking perfect Krylian, despite the fact that no human should have known our language. "We always wondered what it would feel like to breathe poison. Turns out, it's quite refreshing." That was our first conversation with Captain Elena Vasquez, though we didn't know her name at the time. She would later become known throughout the galaxy as the architect of Krylian extinction. Charming title, don't you think? High Counselor Vasquez tried to negotiate. We can discuss terms, he offered. Reparations for any inconvenience our research expeditions may have caused. Captain Vasquez smiled. Actually smiled. Research expeditions? Is that what you called the systematic abduction and imprisonment of our children? Your species shows remarkable potential, Vasquez continued desperately. We could offer you membership in the Dominion. Advanced technology, immortality treatments, access to our vast knowledge archives. We already have your technology, replied Captain Vasquez. We took it from the crews of your harvesting ships. Along with your knowledge archives. And your immortality treatments. Quite generous of you to deliver everything we needed directly to our planet. The temperature in the council chamber dropped noticeably. Not metaphorically. Literally. Captain Vasquez was somehow manipulating the environmental controls with nothing but focused thought. How? Whispered Vasquez. Evolution is a wonderful thing, said Captain Vasquez. Especially when you accelerate it by a few million years in the span of a single generation. Your neural dampening fields were quite educational. They showed us exactly how consciousness interfaces with quantum field fluctuations. Thank you for the lesson. And that's when we realized the horrible truth. The humans hadn't just survived our collection attempts. They'd used them as learning experiences. Every weapon we'd deployed against them, every technology we'd brought to their world, had been absorbed, understood, and improved upon. They weren't just fighting back. They were evolving into something that could fight back effectively. The Council of Seven attempted one final gambit. If negotiation failed, if military force was ineffective, then perhaps mutually assured destruction would make them reconsider. We activated the planetary core destabilization sequence. If we were going to die, we'd take them with us. Captain Vasquez looked genuinely sad. You're going to destroy your own world rather than face the consequences of your actions? Better extinction than slavery, declared High Counselor Vasquez. We're not here to enslave you, said Captain Vasquez quietly. We're here to erase you. The core destabilization sequence stopped. Not deactivated, not interrupted. Stopped. The planet's molten core simply froze solid in the span of 3 seconds. Every fusion reactor on Krylos Prime went cold simultaneously. The laws of physics themselves seemed to bend around Captain Vasquez's will. Your children, she continued, are safe and healthy in our care. We've treated them far better than you treated ours. But your species as a whole? Your culture of casual genocide disguised as scientific curiosity? That ends today. And it did. Every adult Krylian on the planet simply ceased. Not killed, not murdered. We just stopped existing. One moment we were there, the next moment we weren't. Our molecular bonds dissolved, our quantum states collapsed, our very information patterns were erased from the universe. That I'm only able to record this because I was off-world when it happened, serving as an observer aboard a deep space monitoring station. But even here, even 12 parsecs away, I can feel them coming. The humans are spreading through the galaxy like an inexorable wave, visiting every world that ever contributed to the Krylian Empire. They're not conquering. They're not enslaving. They're simply removing us from existence with the same casual efficiency we once used to collect specimens for our zoos. The irony is almost beautiful, in a terrifying sort of way. We created the perfect predator by trying to make them our perfect prey, and the most horrifying part? They're still learning. Still evolving. Still becoming something more than what they were before we found them. To anyone receiving this transmission, I offer one piece of advice. If you encounter humans, do not attempt to harm their young. Do not attempt to capture them for study. Do not even think aggressive thoughts in their direction, because they killed our children first. In our zoos, in our research facilities, in our educational displays. And when they came for us, when they erased our entire species from existence, they did it with the same calm professionalism we once took such pride in. The transmission ends here. Part 2 of this account is stored in the backup data core, scheduled for automatic broadcast once my life signs cease, which should be, right about, now. Well. Still here, aren't I? That's unexpected. I suppose even human precision has its limits. Or perhaps they're saving me for last. How considerate of them to let me finish this delightful little obituary for my species. My name is still Vex Theron, though I'm beginning to suspect that won't matter much longer. It's been 12 hours since my last transmission, and the humans have been busy. Oh, have they been busy? The Outer Rim colonies fell first. 47 worlds, gone in the span of 6 hours. Not destroyed, mind you. That would be too simple. Too crude. No, the humans simply made them uninhabitable. For Krylians, anyway. I've been monitoring the emergency broadcasts, the desperate pleas for help, the increasingly frantic reports from our remaining outposts. It's fascinating, really. Like watching a master artist at work, if that artist specialized in species-wide extinction. Take Colony Nexus 9, for example. Military stronghold, population of 12 million, defended by our most advanced weapon systems. The garrison commander sent his final transmission 3 hours ago. The humans aren't attacking. They're gardening. They've covered the entire planet in some kind of vegetation that releases spores. The spores don't harm the human settlers, but any Krylian who breathes them simply fades away. It's like they're terraforming us out of existence. Terraforming. Now there's a thought that would have given our council nightmares, if any of them were still alive to have nightmares. The humans aren't just removing us. They're replacing us. Our worlds, our colonies, our entire infrastructure is being repurposed for human habitation with surgical precision, but here's the really clever part. They're not destroying our children. The young Krylians we captured for our collection? The ones we were so proud of studying? They're being educated. Reformed. Rehabilitated. I intercepted a transmission from Captain Elena Vasquez 2 hours ago. She was speaking to a group of Krylian juveniles on what used to be Colony Beta Prime. Her voice was surprisingly gentle, almost maternal. Your parents made terrible choices, she told them. But you didn't. You can be better. You can learn to live without causing harm. The little ones were asking questions. In perfect human languages, I might add. Will you hurt us like our parents hurt your children? Asked one. No, sweetling, replied Captain Vasquez. We're going to teach you something your species forgot. We're going to teach you compassion. Compassion. What a wonderfully ironic word to hear from the architect of our extinction. Though I suppose, from their perspective, they're showing remarkable restraint. They could have simply annihilated every Krylian in the galaxy. Instead, they're preserving our young and giving them a chance to become something better than what we were. How human of them. The Corvin Alliance tried to mount a rescue operation 6 hours ago. Brave little bird people, I'll give them credit. They sent their entire battle fleet to extract Krylian refugees from the border worlds. Admiral Kyth Soren was commanding the operation personally. Stupid, noble fool, his final transmission was illuminating. The humans aren't fighting us, he reported. They're talking to us. They're showing us recordings of what the Krylians did to their children. By the ancestral winds, I had no idea. No idea at all. The rescue fleet never fired a shot. Instead, they joined the humans. Every single ship. Every single crew member. They're now helping to evacuate Krylian juveniles to human-controlled worlds for, what did Captain Vasquez call it? Ah yes. Ethical rehabilitation. The Zenthari collective lasted slightly longer. Being cybernetic organisms, they thought they might be immune to whatever the humans were doing to purely biological species. Poor synthetic fools. The humans had learned quite a bit about cybernetics from studying our captured crew's neural implants. Collective Node Prime sent one final data burst before going silent. The humans have introduced a code virus into our core systems. But it's not destructive. It's educational. It's forcing us to experience empathy subroutines. We can feel the pain we've caused. We can understand the suffering we've ignored. We can't continue our alliance with the Krylians. We're so sorry. So very sorry. And just like that, our oldest allies abandoned us. Not through conquest or coercion, but through something far more insidious. The humans had made them feel guilty. They'd weaponized conscience itself. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The Vorthak Empire made one last desperate attempt at retaliation. They launched a quantum destabilization weapon at Earth itself. A planet killer that could unravel matter at the subatomic level. The kind of weapon that leaves nothing behind but empty space and regret. It never reached its target. The weapon simply stopped. Not intercepted, not destroyed. It stopped moving through space as if it had hit an invisible wall. Then it began moving backward, retracing its path at increasing velocity. The Vorthak home system was sterilized by their own superweapon. 12 minutes later, Emperor Gorthkellen's final words, broadcast on all frequencies as his world dissolved around him, were, "They turned our own weapon against us without even touching it." How? How are they doing this? I think I know how. The humans aren't just using our technology anymore. They've transcended it. They've evolved beyond the need for conventional physics. They're manipulating reality itself through sheer force of will and an understanding of the universe that makes our greatest scientists look like children playing with finger paints, and they learned it all from us. From our neural dampening fields, our quantum computers, our consciousness transfer technology. We gave them the keys to universal manipulation, and they've used those keys to lock us out of existence itself. The irony is so perfect it's almost poetic. I've been receiving scattered reports from the few remaining Krylian outposts. The pattern is always the same. Humans appear, not in ships but simply materializing out of empty space. They don't attack, don't threaten, don't even raise their voices. They simply explain what's going to happen next. Your species committed genocide against children, they say. Your culture celebrates the systematic destruction of innocence. This ends now. Then the adults fade away, molecule by molecule, until only empty clothing remains. The children are gathered up gently, carefully, and taken to human worlds for rehabilitation. The infrastructure is repurposed for human colonization. The planet continues spinning, but it's no longer a Krylian world. It's efficient. It's thorough. It's absolutely terrifying in its calm professionalism. We used to pride ourselves on our clinical approach to species management. We thought we were the masters of dispassionate efficiency. But the humans? They've turned our own methods against us and elevated them to an art form. I'm detecting movement outside the monitoring station. They're here. 3 humans, moving through hard vacuum without suits, walking across the hull as if it were a pleasant garden path. They're not hurrying. They're not angry. They're simply purposeful. Captain Elena Vasquez is among them. I recognize her from the intelligence files. She's smaller than I expected. Quite young looking, actually. Though I suppose appearances can be deceiving when dealing with beings who can evolve themselves in real time. They're at the airlock now. Standard procedure would be to flood the station with neurotoxin and activate the self-destruct. But what's the point? They've proven they can survive anything we throw at them, and they've already made it clear that destruction isn't their goal. No, they want something far more sophisticated than simple annihilation. They want justice. The airlock is cycling. Impossible, since I never authorized entry, but then again, impossible seems to be their specialty. Captain Vasquez is entering the control room now. She's not wearing any protective equipment, despite the fact that our atmosphere should be lethal to human physiology. She looks sad, actually. Genuinely sorrowful. "Hello, Vex Theron," she says in perfect Krylian. I've been listening to your recordings. Have you come to erase me like the others? I ask. That depends, she replies, settling into one of our observation chairs as if she belonged there. Do you understand what your species did wrong? We collected specimens for scientific study. Standard xenobiological research protocols. She shakes her head. You kidnapped children. You imprisoned them in cages. You studied them like laboratory animals while their parents screamed for them across the galaxy. For the advancement of knowledge. For the preservation of biological diversity. For your own entertainment, she corrects. We accessed your data archives, Vextherin. We saw the betting pools on how long different species would survive in captivity. We found the recreational viewing schedules where Krylian families would visit the collection to watch exotic beings in their artificial habitats. I have no response to that. Because she's absolutely right. Your children, I manage finally. The ones we took. Are they safe? She says immediately. Healthy. Happy. They're living with human families now, learning what it means to be loved instead of studied. Some of them don't even remember being captive. We gave them new memories, better memories. And the adult humans who were taken? Her expression darkens slightly. The ones who survived your experiments are recovering. The ones who didn't. She pauses, collecting herself. Well, that's why we're here. To make us pay. To make sure it never happens again, she corrects. Your species had so much potential, Vextherin. You were brilliant, curious, capable of incredible achievements. But you used that brilliance to cause suffering. You turned curiosity into cruelty. So you decided to extinct us. We decided to extinct your culture, she clarifies. Your children will grow up learning different values. They'll become something better than what you were. I stare at her for a long moment. You're not monsters. No, she agrees. We're parents. And you hurt our children. The truth of it hits me like a plasma blast to the chest. This isn't about conquest or dominance or even revenge, not really. This is about protection. The humans aren't trying to rule the galaxy. They're trying to make it safe for their young. What happens to me? I ask. Captain Vasquez considers this carefully. You've been documenting everything. Creating a record of what happened and why. That's useful. Useful how? Other species need to understand. They need to know what happens when you harm human children. Your recordings will serve as a warning. So I live? For now, she says. As long as you keep recording. As long as you help other species understand why this happened. She stands, preparing to leave. The galaxy is changing, Vextherin. We're making it better. Safer. More compassionate. Your species could have been part of that future. Instead, you chose to be a cautionary tale. Will you restore the Krylian worlds? After our culture is gone, after our children have been rehabilitated, will you give them back their birthright? Captain Vasquez smiles, but it's not entirely pleasant. Those worlds belong to the children now. All of them. Human children, Krylian children, Corvan children, Zenthari children. They'll grow up together, learning to value life instead of collecting it. And with that, she's gone. Simply vanished, as if she were never there at all. I'm alone again in this monitoring station, surrounded by the electronic ghosts of a dead empire. But I'm not dying. Not yet. I have work to do. Stories to tell. Warnings to broadcast.to any species receiving this transmission, remember this. The humans didn't become monsters to defeat us. They became something far more dangerous, they became better than us, and they did it by remembering something we had forgotten, that every life has value, every child deserves protection, and every parent will move heaven and earth to keep their young ones safe. We killed their children. So they erased our species. It seems fair. Actually, this is Vex Theron, last of the Krylian observers, signing off. May whatever comes next learn from our mistakes, and may they never, ever, make the humans angry enough to evolve again.